This training package consists of a handbook, a videotape, and an SAI computer test. The videotape is a general overview, while the handbook covers procedures in detail. The SAI test must be passed to complete the lesson. The videotape will instruct you when to stop the tape and turn to the handbook. The handbook will guide you through the qualification process.
The A320 is part of a new generation of aircraft. The A320 is a twin-engine, 150-seat aircraft that incorporates the most advanced aviation technology. On the flight deck, traditional flight instruments have been replaced by 6 color monitors that instantly display information about all the onboard systems. The A320 is flown with a side stick controller, eliminating the conventional control column. The A320 uses weight-saving composite materials that improve fuel economy. These carbon fiber components weigh 20% less than aluminum, yet possess the strength of high-quality steel. The tailplane, fin, rudder, and passenger floor panels are among the composite material components on the A320. The V2500 engine from International Aero Engines will power the A320. With a range of 3,150 nautical miles, the A320 is the first 150-seat aircraft with the year-round ability to fly coast-to-coast with a full passenger payload. The A320 with a full payload offers a 50% improvement in fuel economy over the 727-200. The Braniff A320s are built by Airbus Industry, a partnership of Europe's largest aircraft manufacturers.
The A320 is 123 feet, 3 inches long. It is 30 feet shorter than the Boeing 727-200, or about 23 feet longer than the Boeing 737-200. Its wingspan is 112 feet from winglet to winglet, making it 4 feet wider than the Boeing 727-200. The tail is 38 feet, 7 inches high, taller than the 737 or the 727. If you compare the parking profiles of the A320 to the 727, keep in mind that the A320 is 4 feet wider in wingspan and has a tail 4.5 feet taller than the 727.
The A320 has 4 main passenger entry doors, 2 in the forward cabin and 2 in the rear. All of these doors are the same size. The width of the door opening is slightly less than that of a 727 door. There are 4 overwing exits, 2 on each side of the fuselage. A wide evacuation slide is stowed in the aft portion of the wings.
The overwing evacuation slides are automatically deployed when either of the overwing exit doors are opened. For this reason, the overwing exit doors should never be removed for ventilation.
The A320 contains 3 cargo bins accessed from the right side of the aircraft. The forward cargo bin is about 1/3 smaller than the front cargo bin of a 727. There are 2 cargo bins behind the wing. The main aft bin is about the same size as the 727 aft bin. A small bulk cargo bin is located behind the main aft cargo bin. The main aft cargo bin and the bulk cargo bin are separated by netting. This netting must be in place during flight for weight and balance purposes. The main bin doors open outward and are operated hydraulically. However, they can be opened with a hand pump that pressurizes the door's hydraulic system. The bulk cargo bin door opens inward and is operated manually.
IAE V2500 engines power the A320. These new engines are 25% more fuel efficient than the engines on a Boeing 727. The engine intakes are over 5 feet in diameter. The clearance between the bottom of the engine and the ground is less than 2 feet.
There is always the danger of being sucked into the engine. The danger area extends to the front and side of the engines. The inlet suction danger area is an arc extending 15 feet out and 5 feet back of the engines. When walking or driving behind the running engines, keep at least 2 aircraft lengths, or about 250 feet, between you and the aircraft. And remember, allow at least 1 minute spool down time before approaching the aircraft.
Because they are so close to the ground, the V2500 engines are especially vulnerable to foreign object ingestion. A ramp inspection for FOD must be conducted prior to the arrival of any A320 aircraft. Also, the engine intakes are never to be used as shelter from weather or as a desk for paperwork. Pencils, pens, and even hats can damage these expensive engines.
All service ports are compatible with the equipment currently used on other Braniff aircraft. The external electric connection, the tow bar, the water, lavatory, fuel, air conditioning, and air start connections are all compatible with our current equipment. Ground support equipment will be placed in the same relative positions around the A320 as around the 727. Service to the rear galley will be through the left side of the aircraft. Service to the forward galley will be through the right side. Fueling is done through a single point connection located under the right wing. The fuel control panel is located in the right wing root.
All of the normal safety precautions associated with other aircraft also apply to the A320. This includes the use of wing walkers, standard hand signals, and marking cones. However, the following specific precautions must be observed when working in or around the A320. A. Never open the overwing exits. Opening them will cause the evacuation slide to deploy. B. Maintain a safe distance from running engines. Remember that the suction extends to the side as well as in front of the engine. Allow at least 1 minute spool down time before approaching the aircraft. C. Be especially vigilant for FOD. A FOD check of the ramp must take place before the arrival of any A320 aircraft. Never sit or lean inside the engine intake cowling. D. Do not stand directly in front of the cargo bin doors when they are opened. These 230-pound doors have a tendency to drop into the vertical position when opened. E. Never park or drive under any part of the aircraft. F. The A320 has 2 water drain masts located fore and aft under the airplane. Be very careful. These units are heated to prevent freezing in flight. Do not touch them. They remain hot.
All safety precautions that apply to jetway operation for other Braniff aircraft also apply to the A320. As with all jetway operation, the rubber bumper of the jetway should be as close to the aircraft as possible without touching it. The first step is to adjust the initial height.
The A320 doorway is 11 feet off the ground, 2 feet higher than the 727. Adjust the jetway height before moving it towards the A320 fuselage.
The second step is to position the jetway in relation to the passenger entry door.
When open, the combined width of the passenger door and the door opening is 5 feet and 9 inches, or 3 inches narrower than the 727. The jetway should be positioned with approximately 12 inches of clearance to the right side of the doorway. This will ensure adequate room on both sides of the doorway.
And step 3. Make certain the jetway cab and canopy do not touch the open aircraft door.
The A320 has 4 identical entry doors. The main passenger door opens by moving out and slightly up, then it slides into a flush position forward of the door opening. Before opening the aircraft door, check that the emergency escape slide is not armed. Look in the window on the door. Inside there are red and white warning indicators. If you attempt to open the door when the slide is armed, the white light will illuminate. The door is safe to open when the flight attendant unlatches the door. Instructions for the opening of the passenger door are printed to the left of the door handle.
Push the flap in and grasp the handle. Lift the handle up to the green line. The door will move slightly inward. Pull the door out and slide it towards the nose of the aircraft. Pull the door forward and lock in position.
To close the door, press the GUS lock and reverse the procedure.
SIDS, Cabin Intercommunication Data System. Located in the forward passenger entry doorway above the flight attendant jump seats is the Cabin Intercommunication Data System, also referred to as SIDS. The SID system is a programmable microprocessor-controlled system that provides the control, operation, and testing of the following cabin systems: passenger address, cabin interphone, crew call, passenger call, passenger lighted signs, general cabin illumination, emergency evacuation signaling.
The PA system on this aircraft is operated through a handheld phone. This unit is located just inside the passenger entry door. To operate the PA system, press and release the PA All button on the phone unit. This will override other PA functions such as boarding music, but will not override cockpit announcements. Remember to hold down the Push to Talk button while making the announcement. To operate the cabin illumination system, touch the main power switch on and select the area of the cabin you wish to illuminate.
Entry forward for the forward entryway. FC for the first class section. YC for the coach class section. Entry aft for the aft entryway. BRT for bright light. Dim 1 for medium light. Dim 2 for low light.
Cabin illumination should be the only SID system function the customer service agent will need to use. All other functions of the SID system are for in-flight use only.
The passenger cabin of the A320 offers a variety of advantages to our passengers. The A320 has 2 galleys, one on the right side of the aircraft in the forward entryway. The second is a full-width galley located in the extreme rear of the cabin.
The A320 has a normal complement of 4 flight attendants. 2 sit in the forward part of the cabin and 2 in the aft section.
The A320 has a total of 3 lavatories, 1 located on the forward left side of the cabin and 2 in the aft section of the aircraft.
The cabin is 7.5 inches wider than other narrow-body aircraft. This allows for a wider aisle and more comfortable seats. First-class seats are 28.5 inches wide with a 38-inch pitch between rows. Coach-class seats are 20.6 inches wide with a 32-inch pitch. Each overhead compartment will accommodate 2.3 cubic feet of carry-on luggage. Each overhead unit is 13.5 inches high, 28 inches deep, and 84 inches long. The capacity is 168 pounds for each overhead unit. A built-in handrail extends the full length of the cabin.
The Braniff A320s will come in 2 configurations. The 148-seat version will have 10 seats and a coat closet in first class, and 138 seats in coach class. The 150-seat version will have 12 seats in first class, but no coat closet. 138 seats will be available in coach class.
The overwing emergency exit rows in the coach cabin are rows 10 and 11. There are 2 emergency exit windows on both sides of the aircraft. Remember, these emergency exits are always armed and must never be opened for anything other than emergency situations.
The window seats in rows 9 and 10 will not recline due to their proximity to the emergency exit rows. These are considered to be undesirable seats for revenue passengers. Lap children can be seated at any location in the cabin because every passenger service unit has 4 oxygen masks.
Gate agents should be aware that there are 2 jump seats for additional crew members located in the cockpit.
The operating weights of the A320 are as follows.
The empty operating weight is 88,514 pounds. Maximum zero fuel weight is 133,400 pounds. Maximum takeoff weight, 162,000 pounds. Maximum payload weight, 44,866 pounds. And the maximum fuel weight is 40,551 pounds.
The external power receptacle is located forward of the nose landing gear on the underside of the aircraft. The access door is marked accordingly. There are 3 systems available to the ramp agent in this panel. The external power lights and cord receptacle, the headset interphone jack and the cockpit call button, and the APU fire light and emergency shut-off switch.
The A320 external power receptacle is a standard 6-prong connection, which is compatible with current ground power units and teledyne cords. Because the electrical cord is nearly vertical when attached, it must be supported with the use of a strap. 2 lights verify the use and availability of power to the aircraft and must be monitored during the connection and detachment process. The amber external power available caution light is controlled by the ground power control unit. It illuminates to indicate that the ground power unit is operating and the voltage is correct. The white external power not in use caution light illuminates to indicate the ground power unit is not supplying the aircraft, and when advised by the cockpit, the GPU can be safely disconnected. A press to test button will verify that both lights are in working condition. The electrical system of the A320 is designed to reject external power when the voltage or cycles from the external power are out of limits. Here are the electrical current limits. Volts, 110 minimum, 120 maximum. Hertz, 390 minimum, 410 maximum. If the aircraft will not accept external power, the output current of the external unit may need adjustment.
When using external power, the ground power must be in the off position when plugging in the electrical cord to the aircraft. Remember that connecting or disconnecting the electrical cord with the ground power on can cause arcing of electricity, serious personal injury, and damage to the aircraft.
The headset connection, cockpit call button, and light are all located in the middle of the external power panel. The receptacle for the headset plug is compatible with standard headsets. Pushing the cockpit call button will alert the cockpit crew.
Also located on the external power panel is the APU fire warning light and APU shutoff. Should there be an indication of an APU fire, the APU can be shut down by opening the switch cover and operating the shutoff switch. Should the shutoff switch be used, the flight crew or maintenance personnel should be advised immediately.
Air start. Because of its proximity to the engine and the safety guidelines associated with the engines on the A320, special care must be taken when the external air start unit is used to start the engines. The air start unit is parked on the right side of the fuselage, as far forward as possible, and no more than 6 feet away from the fuselage. After the unit is in place, the air supply hose can be pulled under the belly of the aircraft to the air start connection panel. The air start connection on the A320 is located between the wing root and forward of the main landing door. Extreme caution must be used when disconnecting the air supply hose from the aircraft. Stay as close as possible to the fuselage of the aircraft when walking to the unit. The danger area around the engines at idle extends 15 feet from the engine intake in an arc that extends to the side of the engine as well.
The APU will normally put out enough power to maintain an acceptable cabin temperature on the ground. During extreme temperatures, or when the APU is not being used, an external conditioned air unit can be utilized. The connection point for the conditioned air supply hose is just forward of the main landing gear doors. The conditioned air connection is compatible with the equipment used for the Boeing aircraft. The conditioned air unit is positioned in front of the left wing. A guideman must be used to ensure clearance between the air conditioning unit and the left engine. The unit must have parking brakes set and be chocked while it is parked by the aircraft. Care should be taken to ensure that exhaust fumes from the unit will not be drawn into the aircraft cabin through cooling and circulation inlets.
The potable water service panel is located on the underside of the fuselage. There is also a forward drain panel located in the belly of the fuselage. To fill the A320 with potable water, first, open the ground service panel access door. Remove the cap from the fill and drain port at the service panel. Connect the water service vehicle hose to the fill and drain port. Turn the drain control handle to the fill position and pull it out to the mechanical stop. Caution: water pressure must not exceed 50 pounds per square inch. And the water must be at 86 degrees Fahrenheit, 30 minutes before engine start. Fill the freshwater tank until the quantity indicator shows the desired level. Note: water will flow from the overflow drain port before the tank can overfill. Switch off the water service vehicle and turn back the control handle to the normal position. Disconnect the hose and install the cap. Check for leaks and dry the panel. Close the service panel access door. For a complete procedure on how to drain the potable water, please refer to the A320 handbook.
To service the A320 lavatories, first put the lab service truck in position. Open the toilet service panel and open the drain port. Connect the drain hose to the drain port. Turn the open lever to the open position. Pull the drain control handle from the normal position to the drain position, and waste materials will flow from the drain port. Push back the drain control handle to the normal position. Open the filling port and connect the fill hose. Flush the toilet tank with clean water. Pull the drain control handle from the normal position to the drain position and drain the system again. Push the drain control handle to the normal locked position. Fill the tank with 1.66 gallons of disinfectant. Turn the drain valve to the closed position. Disconnect the drain hose and the fill hose. Close the draining and filling port. And finally, close the access door. Remember to wear rubber gloves when working the lab truck.
Fueling. This is not a thorough explanation of fueling procedures for the A320. This is only a familiarization of the fueling process. The A320 has 3 fuel tanks: a left wing tank, a right wing tank, and a center tank. Each of the wing tanks are divided into 2 cells by a sealed rib. The total fuel capacity is approximately 40,500 pounds. The refueling point is under the leading edge of the right wing. The connection is compatible with standard fueling equipment. The first step is to connect the grounding cable to the aircraft. Bonding lugs for the refueling vehicle are on the main landing gear. Remove the cap from the refuel-defuel coupling. Go to the fuel control panel located in the right-hand fuselage fairing. As soon as the panel door is opened, power is supplied and all the lights should flash. Now perform a system test. Move the switch to the lights position to test the lights on the panel. All the lights should come on and all the quantity indicators should show 8s. When the test switch is set to high level, the 3 high-level lights come on. This indicates that the high-level sensors are working. The refuel valve selector should be set in the normal and guarded position. For automatic refueling, set the fuel quantity on the pre-selector by tripping the rocker switch to INC for increase or DEC for decrease as needed. This quantity is set in pounds. Now, lift the guard from the mode selector and flip to the refuel position. Start the pump on the fuel truck. Notice that the fuel quantity indicator is increasing. All the tanks are filled simultaneously. When a wing tank is full, the high-level light illuminates and the corresponding valve is closed. The center tank continues to fill. Near the end of the fueling operation, the fuel flow stops. The computer then calculates where to put the rest of the fuel. When fueling is complete, the computer illuminates the end light. Turn off the fuel truck pump. Replace the mode selector to its guarded off position. Close the panel door. Disconnect the fuel line and cap.
The bulk cargo bin has a volume of 212 cubic feet. About 90 average size bags can be loaded in. There is a light switch adjacent to the door opening which operates the interior bin lights. Webbing material separates the bulk bin from the main aft cargo bin. The webbing must be installed to keep the load from shifting in flight. The weight and balance of the aircraft is based on the contents of these bins remaining separate. Bin webbing is also attached around the opening of the bulk bin door. This webbing must be secured before flight to prevent cargo from shifting against the door. The bulk cargo bin door is manually operated and opens into the bin. The door weighs 71 pounds and measures 34 by 37 inches. The door is counterbalanced but is not hydraulically assisted. To open the bulk cargo bin door, press the button on the door which releases the handle from the door. Rotate the handle until the door latches are released and the door swings inward. Replace the door handle into its recess. Push the door up against the bin ceiling where a mechanical hook locks the door in place. To close the bulk cargo bin door, press the release button on the door to release the handle from its recessed position. Next, rotate the door handle to release the door from the ceiling. Allow the door to move down toward its closed position. Once the door is in the frame, rotate the handle clockwise to lock the door in place. The door should now be flush with the fuselage of the aircraft. A door handle on the inside of the bulk cargo bin door allows the bin to be opened or closed from inside the cargo bin.
Both forward and aft cargo bins are heated and pressurized. Both are 49 inches from floor to ceiling. The forward cargo bin has a total volume of 490 cubic feet. By comparison, the forward bin of the Boeing 727 has a volume of about 679 cubic feet. The forward cargo bin has room for about 200 average-sized bags. The aft cargo bin can hold about 275 average bags. It has a 645 cubic foot capacity compared to the 798 cubic feet of the 727. The weight limit for the aft bin is 10,000 pounds. However, for weight and balance purposes, the aft cargo bin may be restricted to less weight.
The forward and aft bin doors are 49 inches by 71 inches and weigh about 238 pounds. The bin doors are opened and closed by hydraulic pressure. The doors open outward. The hydraulic cylinders that raise the doors also lock the doors in position. To open the doors using hydraulics, first push on the flap at the handle and pull the handle from its recessed area in the door. Note that the vent flaps on the door will open, indicating the locks are released. Rotate the handle clockwise, allowing the door to swing outward. Remember not to stand in front of the door when it is opened. After the door has been opened, go to the yellow hydraulic control panel next to the lower left corner of the bin door. Open the panel door. Push the green light to check that the light illuminates and to confirm that the door is unlocked. Turn the lever to the open position and hold until the door is in its raised and locked position. The green light will illuminate when the door is locked in the up position. When you release the control lever, it returns to the neutral position. To close the forward and aft bin doors, first, make sure the door sill latches are in the raised position. Then, turn the selector on the control panel to the close position and hold. This activates the pump which provides pressure to the door actuators. When there is sufficient pressure, the selector switch will move to the fully closed position. The green light on the control panel goes off, indicating the door is unlocked. The selector switch must be held in the closed position until the door is in the frame. When released, the switch will return to its neutral position. The handle on the door can now be rotated to lock the door, and the handle can be returned to its recess. Check that the vent and bin door are flush with the fuselage of the aircraft. Manual operation of the cargo door requires 2 people, one person to operate the pump handle and the second person to operate the valve at the cargo door. The first person unlocks the door. The second person opens the yellow ground service access panel and removes the hand pump handle. Extend the telescoping pump handle by pulling out on the end. Install the handle on the pump and set the normal control selector to the closed position. The first operator must hold the selector in the open position. The second operator then begins to pump and the door will open. When the green light illuminates, the door is locked and the operator sets the control selector to open. The first operator releases the control selector. Manual door closing also requires 2 operators. The first person sets the selector to the closed position and holds it. The second person sets the hydraulic selector switch to the closed position and operates the hand pump. When the door is in the frame, the selector is then set to the open position. The first operator then releases the switch, closes the panel door, and locks the door in place. The second operator compresses and returns the pump handle to its position. Lock it in and close the panel. A320 parking procedures. To protect the engines, a FOD check will always be done prior to the arrival of the aircraft. The marshalling agent will need to be 25 feet from the aircraft to be seen from the cockpit. The A320's wider wingspan makes the use of wing walkers essential. Even though the wingtip is high, never taxi the airplane over ground equipment or other aircraft. Standard hand signals will be used. The A320 has a turning radius of 78 degrees, which is comparable to other types of Braniff aircraft. On through flights, the nose wheel will be chalked. A main gear will also be chalked on aircraft parked an extended amount of time. Both main gear should be chalked if high winds are anticipated. Pushback procedures. The towing lug on Braniff A320s has been modified to be compatible with the tow bar for the Boeing 727 aircraft. Before the tow bar is attached, the nose wheel steering must be disconnected. To disconnect the nose wheel steering, find the deactivation switch box on the nose gear. The switch box is a square unit with a lever, located halfway down the front of the nose gear. The lever has 2 positions. The 45-degree position means the steering is activated. When the lever is straight up and down, the nose wheel steering is deactivated. To deactivate the nose steering, move the lever into the vertical position and insert the locking pin. The tow bar will always be attached to the aircraft first and then to the tractor. Engine start will not be called for until the pushback is complete. During normal pushback, with the engines not operating, the maximum permitted steering angle on each side of the aircraft center line is 95 degrees. When the engines are operating during pushback, the maximum permitted steering angle on each side of the aircraft center line is 40 degrees. Steering angles of more than 40 degrees will place the tractor in the suction danger area of the intake. All pushbacks are to end with the nose gear in line with the center line of the aircraft. Disconnect the tow bar from the tractor and move the tractor away. Disconnect the tow bar from the aircraft. Reconnect the tow bar to the tractor. Activate the nose wheel steering by removing the safety pin from the lever. The lever will spring back to the 45-degree steering engaged position. Replace the safety pin in the locking plate on the steering box. The normal start rotation for the engines will be the number 1 engine first and then the number 2 engine.